Broadcasting from Manhattan Beach and the World Wide Web, you're listening to CHSR, HealthyLife.net.
As a service to our listeners, this program is for general information and entertainment purposes only. CHSR, HealthyLife.net does not recommend, endorse, or object to the views, products, or topics expressed or discussed by show hosts or their guests. We suggest you always consult with your own personal, medical, financial, or legal advisor.
Hi, this is Joanne Reese. Thanks so much for joining us today on the Hemp Show. I'm really excited to be with you. I'm actually recording our call today from beautiful Boulder, Colorado, in the midst of a rainstorm and a lightning storm here. And I love being able to connect with you all as I'm traveling throughout the summer. So this show is to educate you about all things related to hemp. We definitely have a focus on healthy life, as all the shows on this station are doing. And I'm amazed, as I've been in Colorado for the past few weeks, even though cannabis has been legal here and a lot of people think that everybody knows about it, they really, really don't. This is still a very brand new conversation for a lot of people, learning about what's the difference between hemp and marijuana. How do people benefit from the non-psychoactive half of the cannabis plant and what the ramifications are for that? I've mentioned before on previous shows that there's a huge variety amongst quality of product, and it's really, really important when you're looking into cannabis as a medicine to be used medicinally, for your overall well-being on the mental, emotional, spiritual levels, that you're not buying it at the drugstore, that you're not necessarily just buying it off the Internet. I saw a funny cartoon recently that said, stop buying your CBD oil at the gas station. We want to make sure that you're having a great experience, that you're not buying toxic products, that you're not buying product that is unable to be absorbed by your body, because as you're learning about the benefits of CBD and hemp and CBG and all of the cannabinoids and terpenes that this incredible plant has to offer, you want to make sure that the products that you're taking are toxin-free, that they're absorbable, that there's not other additives in your product that shouldn't be there. So we're going to be talking today with Dr. Leta Jusilla. You'll have to correct me if I said that wrong. I had an opportunity to meet Leta a few years ago. She is incredibly well-respected doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine. She is a national wellness expert. She works with her clients to help them with overall healthcare goals. And what she teaches them is that our bodies can often return to healthy function at almost any age. She's been treating clients for the past 13 years, and she's a specialist who works with people to achieve wellness in the healthcare system with symptom management. Rather than focusing on symptom management, she's helping them to identify what's at the root cause of the problem, which is something we talk about a lot here. What's functional medicine? What's integrative medicine? What's holistic medicine, naturopathic medicine? So Leta is educating professionals and the broader society about cannabidiol as a medicine. She's worked with thousands of patients that are working with cannabis, and she's seen firsthand how this can help people with their overall health and sense of wellness. So Leta, absolutely, totally thrilled to have you here today.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you so much for the invitation. I love what you're up to. I love that you're educating people about hemp and demystifying it. One of the things that I've been doing is I want people to have a healthy, long-term relationship with this plant, because a lot of people have been afraid to use it, and so I'm just so grateful to be here. Thanks, Joanne.
You bet. So you spoke to my heart when you sent me information saying that you're really here to help people wean off of prescription drugs that they're potentially having problems and issues with, and that's been a huge heart mission of mine So I'd love to hear about how you got involved in this, how it's helping your clients, and how you're really helping people to shift over from maybe more of the mainstream drug therapies into holistic.
Yes, of course. So, there's a lot of different scopes of drugs and medications. We have, obviously, an opioid epidemic in this country. A lot of people are, when they get an injury, they're even on pain meds, and certain people can't even take pain medication because it causes them nausea and vomiting. We have I don't want to go through the lists and classes of pharmaceuticals, but anything from, anxiety and depression medication. It's really crazy on how many medications the average, let's just even say American, is on. It used to be in my practice even 10 years ago. It's very common that someone's on a high blood pressure, high cholesterol med, your occasional diabetes. But at this point, I'm seeing an average of, 4, 5, 6 medications per patient. And, I met you at one of the cannabis medical conferences, and a lot of the funding has been out of this country, and what they're presenting is 100% success rate of transitioning people off opioids, 100% success rate dealing with even premenstrual syndrome and stuff like that. So what's interesting about using, if we were to step back a second, Joanne, and look at family, genus, species, we're actually in the family Cannabaceae, and this whole species is Cannabis sativa L. It's the hemp family. And what we're looking at now that we're understanding a little bit more about the endocannabinoid system and how there's no receptors in the brainstem as far as for the species of plants with hemp, which is hemp, is that hemp is, once it's in the body, okay, it doesn't matter the administration or delivery. It's able to really conduct on these receptor sites. And I'm assuming that you've had a lot of different kinds of experts on your show. But we have found that, once you start adding in this plant into your diet as a therapeutic agent, as a dietary supplement, as a medicine, again, however you want to look at it, it's able to then start making or helping the body work better. It's working with the body's own intelligence. And if we were to, geek out a little bit on the science, there is a pathway. It's called cytochrome P450. It's a metabolic pathway. It's located primarily in the liver. It's made up of enzymes, many types of enzymes. And what happens is that these enzymes break down or alter substances we've taken in, like a medication, and prepares them to be eliminated from the body. And each enzyme has a very unique name, and they're responsible for different things. And the two that's really become popular when people talk about medication and, hemp oil or hemp is that there's a CYP3A4 and a CYP2D6. And these two enzymes are responsible for the metabolism of medication in the body. And this is what people are talking about when you take hemp oil. It sometimes will inhibit these enzymes, and that's actually can be a good thing because it's going to, again, increase the amount of medication circling in the body, and that's a layman's way of saying it's going to make the medication work better, okay? So what happens is that people are going to start to need to take less medication in general when you're having this hemp oil in the blood, in the system. And so how we what I say to patients is, and what a lot of doctors say, is if people really want to start using and having a relationship with this plant and to want to start lowering, the pharmaceuticals they're on, regardless of what they're on, and we can talk about hemp as an optional, or I should say occasional blood thinner, is that we say it's the 10% rule. I can't, give you very specific advice, but we say 10%, you can reduce your medication by 10%. Some people do it weekly. Some people do it daily. Again, everybody's endocannabinoid system is very different. The amount of medication they're on is very different, but that's kind of a general rule. But what we've seen is that we want you to be on this hemp oil before they start tapering. So I always love to say, why don't you get on it at least 2 hours before you take your regular medication to see about adjusting the necessary dose. It takes about 45 minutes usually for us to let it sink in, especially if you've never tried hemp oil. And the next is then we advise patients to reduce their pharmaceutical dose. And to avoid withdrawals, we say tapering slow and low. That's kind of the standard. And with 10%, again, we always say, of course, check with your doctor if you're unsure. Each drug is different. But we've able to see patients go down and get off medication. Again, this is very individual and this is very general, but it has been phenomenal. Yeah.
Awesome. And so in general, I've done a lot of coaching and counseling with people on this, and I'm just amazed at how much better people feel when they start reducing or getting off of things. Have you seen similar things?
Yes, and this is why. Remember all those advertisements we see, commercials? Right. It's all the side effects, Joanne. It's like, you want to take this drug, your doctor recommends it, and then, your leg could fall off, or, it's all the other side effects because, when you're targeting a specific, pathway in the body, the medication is very specific. And again, I really want to honor Western medicine because certain of us have needed medication that saved our lives. So we need to take, this conversation with a grain of salt. But we've been so trained in this country to, medication's a solution, medication's a solution. And in fact, a lot of medications, the whole fundamental principle around medication was to start with modifying plants. So people start feeling so much better because a lot of the medications are to deal with other side effects of medications.
Right. And the other thing I think that's important to mention is that if people are taking 4 or 5 different things, there's no studies that show how all of those potentially can contraindicate with each other.
No.
and that's something that a lot of people aren't really properly told, So, again, when they start reducing or getting off of things start improving for them because they're not having that kind of contraindication.
Exactly. I wish that, we were able to take more basic one-page symptom or system questionnaires when they add a medication or before medications and during their time. And then, of course, as they're tapering and adding a dietary supplement like hemp oil, because people will forget the symptoms they're living with. And once, this oil and this plant starts getting into the body and starts, able to conduct these receptors, it's really profound how people can feel so much better, but they feel more awake and more in touch with their body. It's not a numbing, it's a waking up. And I see a lot of pharmaceuticals, there's a numbing effect.
Right. Yeah, we're shifting over into the consciousness piece, but I talk a lot with people and say this will kind of wake you up, wake up your spirit, wake up your life force, wake up your chi, wake up your consciousness. Whereas a lot of things that are maybe potentially calcifying your pineal gland are going to have the opposite effect.
That's right. That's exactly right. Especially if people are on a pain med, I can't stress it enough. But yeah, it's pretty profound, the results we've seen. I had a fellow doctor in my practice. He didn't tell me he was a doctor. He was kind of testing me. I ended up getting him off 7 medications, and he finally said to me, I just want you to know I'm a doctor. And I fired my other doctor and came to see you, and I'm so glad. And some of these health practitioners are afraid, of the Western medical paradigm to share with their doctor that they're seeking out alternative sources, because none of us were educated in the medical school because of the endocannabinoid system being such a late, discovery. So it's really, this is what's so important about this show, is to open up the conversation. So
I love it. So can you tell me a little bit about different products that you've tried? What have you seen be most effective, and what specifically has it most helped your people with?
Great question. There's a lot of products out there. I mean, the first thing I always have a conversation with people is, first of all, are we talking about recreational? Are we talking about therapeutic? That's the first thing. I have a lot of patients in my practice that love cannabis in general. And, whether it's, full-on a cannabis sativa L plant that has high THC or a cannabis sativa L plant that has high in other cannabinoids that don't have the psychoactive effect. And I always remind them that this is a therapeutic, more, medical conversation that I'm having with people. And so we talk about delivery system because, as a doctor, we don't recommend smoking or vaping. The best thing is the delivery of herbal medicine as a dietary supplement in the form of an oil. That's pretty standard for any herbalist, any naturopath, chiropractor, acupuncturist. There's also, because so many people are numbed out, and, when I ask them basic questions like how's their stool or how's their pee or, sometimes people don't know their own bodily functions or their menstruation. And so topicals are always nice because they can rub it on their elbow. When's the last time they were touching their elbow and, their boo-boo and making it feel better? So depending on what they're using hemp for, I always say a tincture is the number one thing I can recommend because it's going to go into the body and affect everything. And then on top of that, I say the next one to add, in addition, is a topical. Now, as far as topicals, there are patches, there's lotions. Sometimes I recommend patches, but I find with elderly people, the skin's too loose, and hairy people, and some people don't like the ripping off. And so I always like to recommend a topical or a balm that has a lot of milligrams, 1,000 milligrams or more. But as far as the internal tincture, I literally have looked at and tried over, I would say about 120 at this point. I've been in the cannabis industry studying for, I'd say this is my 22nd year. I know a lot of us have been in this industry for a long time. And, Americans don't have good digestion, absorption, assimilation, and elimination. We just don't. And we don't have to go over people's diets, but we should for another call. But because of that and because of the deregulation and the cannabis industry in general, it's a very expensive molecule, hemp. It is. And so I always tell patients, let's find a product that is very similar to our values around food, which is organic and non-GMO, and something that's going to be sublingual. Homeopathy is sublingual, that their whole premise is sublingual. And so for me, for my doctorate, I reviewed 67 companies, and I discovered a company that I really love. And when I met you at this medical conference in L.A. last year, we realized, or a couple of years ago, we realized, you and I found the same company, Prime My Body. And it's not that there aren't other good companies out there. It's just that at this point, not every state is able to get CBD oil, so into the hands of people because it's illegal in certain states, and that's what's so amazing about hemp oil. You're going to get the benefits of CBD, you're going to get the benefits of CBG, all the terpenes, and it's legal in all 50 states. Approved for anyone over 12 months or older, and I've seen it be so effective because of the delivery system. The last thing I'll say is the only time I found that hemp oil is not effective with patients is if they didn't take enough. And again, that's the delivery system. If they're buying hemp oil and an olive oil or coconut oil or MCT oil or alcohol, it's not that it's not a good product. It's just that what we found clinically is you need to get a certain number of cannabinoids crossing the blood-brain barrier in a certain amount of time. And the problem is that we want people to have a successful relationship with this supplement because they need to be on it. And if they try it and they don't get results, they're not going to continue, and they're going to say it's too expensive. So this is why it's important that when people are open to trying it, they try the right product so they can get the benefits in the first week or two.
Absolutely, and I'm sure you found what I have found, which is that people have tried many different brands often and said they didn't notice something. And once you come across something that is high in bioavailability, like you said, sublingual, under the tongue, something that crosses the blood-brain membrane very quickly. I've heard 35 milliseconds from one of the doctors who's working a lot with Recept, and then they're getting a high amount of not just CBD but CBG and the terpenes in this entourage effect. Then people are saying, okay, now I know what people are talking about. Awesome. And so if you have a quick testimonial of what you're seeing this do for some of your patients.
You know, one of the latest things that I found, the oil that, we're using has 30 milligrams of cannabidiol. And I've found that, for people that have tried hemp oil in the past, that it's, has a lot of CBD in it, has, even if it had a couple, terpenes like beta-carotenool and linalool. What's interesting about CBG is that it interacts with both CB1 and CB2 receptors, and it inhibits the psychoeffects of THC. It boosts anandamide. It actually naturally increases dopamine. It regulates mood, sleep, and appetite. And the last thing I found is the GABA uptake in the brain I don't want to go into all that, but it acts as anti-anxiety and a muscle relaxant. And then, of course, blocking the serotonin receptors, it helps with antidepressants. So I was surprised. Anytime I get a new formulation, a new product in, it's always a little bit of an incubator space with patients. I say, listen, there's funding, we're looking at studies, but let's look at observational studies. Let's get curious on how this is going to help you. And I'll tell you, patients will come back and it'll be mind-blowing. And this last formulation with high doses of CBG in it, CBG helps CBD work better, but it also has all of its own therapeutic benefits. I have seen people that have been depressed for I would say, anywhere from 6 months to 3 years I'm thinking of these three specific patients. And it's gotten to the point where they didn't even know it was possible.
I love it. We're going to take a short break. We're going to be right back with Dr. Leta.
Coach Kev believes everyone is a leader and has a kingdom to build. He wrote Kingdom Business, Licensed to Lead, to give you his secrets to leadership and to learn how to use the 4 pillars and hemp oil to become a committed, passionate leader of your life. Get the book, Kingdom Business, Licensed to Lead by Kevin J. Suber at Amazon.com. You'll be glad you did. So do it now. Kingdom Business at Amazon.com or call 424-645-7823. That's 424-645-7823.
Women face more challenges today, resulting in more stress, anxiety, and body imbalances. Women need a little more support, and that's where Recept may help. Organically grown and processed with nanosonicated technology, this THC-free hemp product is a great balancing tool. It may aid a woman's hormonal balance from PMS to conception, from pregnancy to menopause. So women, get your calm on. Order Recept today. Just text or call 310-678-9712.
Created by nature and proven by science, Recept Hemp Extract is something you've probably never experienced before. This organic, non-THC product not only has CBD, but Recept has the latest and highest CBG content. CBG may aid sleep, pain, digestion, mood, so many things. Get your broad-spectrum Recept today. Call or text 310-678-9712 now, or visit lovinglife.primemybody.com.
After 80 years, the government has finally broken open this industry. Imagine tapping into an industry that is expected to grow from $60 million to $22 billion in just 2 years. The industry is hemp. This just might be what you're looking for. To find out how you could be an international distributor with one of the fastest growing hemp companies, call or text 310-678-9712 now. That's 310-678-9712.
You're listening to HealthyLife.net. Millions of listeners know the secret. Now you do too. Positive talk 24 hours a day, every day.
Hello, everyone. This is Joanne Reese on The Hemp Show. We have Dr. Leta with us, doctor of Chinese medicine and acupuncture, who has been studying cannabis for over 20 years, seen phenomenal results with many of her clients. We were just talking right before our break about what she's seeing with this brand new formulation of Reset with CBG. And you were mentioning clients who've been dealing with depression for 3 to 5 years who kind of were at the hopeless part.
That's right. That's right. You know, it gets to a point where we live our life and it's hard for us to see our blind spot. It's hard for us to heal what we're not aware of. And I find that most people don't remember or forget the potential of where they can live their life from. And, I mean, either it's pain. In this case, it was depression with these 3 patients I'm thinking about, Joanne. And it's really such a blessing and a gift to see people, like, be happy. And you know, I know that I want to live in a world where more people are happy. And what I found with CBG is, you know, it's been really profound to help blocking those serotonin receptors. And then, of course, helping with anxiety. So really amazing. You know, a couple other things I've seen with CBG, because we're talking about it. We know about antibacterial, antifungal properties, but it's also neuroprotective. So I've seen the potential with helping people with Huntington's, which is really great. And then colorectal cancer. A lot of people with colon cancer, not a lot of options around that. And so it's been really good to look at CBG around that. There's been studies, I think, for the last 6 years with CBG on specific diseases, bladder dysfunction, lot of stuff. And so what I'm looking at clinically is, you know, depending on what people are coming for, let's try this. Let's take a look at, you know, issues with glaucoma, issues with, you know, any sort of inflammation diseases, of course, but really profound.
Amazing. Yeah, and so for those of you who maybe haven't heard of CBG before, this is something that I learned about at the event where I met Dr. Leta, which was the CannaMed 18 conference at UCLA. It was a conference for doctors learning all about cannabis for a variety of things. They had about 10 major things they hit on: cancer, Alzheimer's, seizure disorder. They did a whole panel on women's reproductive health. They talked about autism, epilepsy issues, etc. And I was amazed. 2 of the main things that I learned about was CBG, this hot new cannabinoid that all of the cancer researchers and doctors are wanting to be using with their patients and their clients. And I also heard a lot about the entourage effect, which is how important it is to have a variety of cannabinoids in high amounts, as well as a high terpene profile, so much better than just having an isolate, which means you need the whole plant. You need that broad spectrum. But the other really interesting thing was that CBG, it's not found in any of the major hemp or CBD products. Largely, from what I gather, is because you have to harvest the plant really young to get it. So you've got to have a young plant and an older plant to really get that broad spectrum profile, and it's also really expensive. So to find a brand that is high in absorption, high in purity, and has this kind of profile, I think is why you're excited to be sharing this with your clients.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the conversion takes place in 6 to 8 weeks in the flowering cycle, and again, CBG is only present in certain chemovars and certain chemotypes, and farmers, you know, they don't know about it. You know, so it takes someone like Paul Rogers and Dr. Chen Rong to really be a pioneer and saying, hey, listen, you know, Israel and Switzerland and these countries have been doing research, clinical research on CBG for 5 or 6 years, coming out with studies. You know, why aren't these farmers in this country, you know, producing hemp in high levels of CBG? Because people need it.
Right. So I just want to segue quickly into, not only is this company and products that you're sharing with your clients, but you're also including this in your business, and you're sharing this with other practitioners. Can you talk a little bit about why that's attractive for you, the team building aspect, the network marketing aspect of this? How's that been for you?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking the question. I have been working at the Chinese Medical School in Santa Cruz for 17 years. I've been asked to teach. I've been teaching the business classes for over a decade, all the required business classes. And I don't know if you know anything about Chinese medicine. It's based on Taoism. It's based on studying nature. We're the only primary care providers in the United States that are licensed herbalists. And 50% of us are no longer practicing after 5 years in this country because we're healers. We don't have a strong business model like chiropractors. And so to answer that question, I would say is that part of what I'm doing, my mission is that healers who need to be thriving in this country, especially, need to figure out a sustainable way to be in business. And as most of us know, we're in the service industry, and it's dollar per minute. So I am focusing on all healers, whether they're body workers, of course, my people, acupuncturists, doctors of acupuncture and oriental medicine, because, none of us, chiropractors, naturopaths, osteopaths, MDs, none of us have learned about the endocannabinoid system in school. We just haven't. The last part of the system was 1995 is when they identified, the CB2 receptor and 2-arachidonoglycerol. So none of us are educated on it. I think every person in the health and wellness field needs to know about this system. They need to have a basic fundamental primer and understanding. And then I think it's their duty to recommend, clean quality products, because we live in a world where advertising, where the advertising has gone rampant in this country. And when you're looking at advertising, is this company financially based or service based? That's the thing. And so with Prime My Body, you have to understand, being a doctor and being someone's primary care physician, they're relying on me to do my due diligence, to do my research. But in this country, I'm considered an alternative practitioner, which means some people have to pay out of pocket. And so network marketing, as far as being a doctor, has always been something that I haven't, quote unquote, needed to partake in the sense that I can buy wholesale and sell retail. But the thing is that not only are people spiritually bankrupt, they're physically sick, but they're also financially sick. And if I want my patients to be on this oil every month, I am grateful that the company that I like and want to recommend and do recommend is network marketing, because my patients can then have the opportunity to get their oils free every month. And I don't care if someone is getting it $20 cheaper on Amazon, they're still going to have to pay that, $40 to $80 every month for the rest of their life. So I think network marketing is really a blessing in this.
Beautiful. And Leta, can you share your website for those who might want to connect with you and learn more about what you're doing in the healing work?
Oh, happy to. It is drleta.com. So I spell out doctor, DOCTORLETA.com. I do genetic testing on cannabis. I do a lot of different stuff. So happy to educate or share some resources with people there. So thank you, Joanne.
Absolutely thrilled to have you today. If you have questions about our show, if you want to learn more about this business model, if you want to learn more about the products, please connect with me. My direct line, 310-678-9712. And love to have you learn more about Dr. Leta. That's DOCTORLETA.com. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Please share this recording with your friends. We want to get the word out about hemp.
After 80 years, the government has finally broken open this industry. Imagine tapping into an industry that is expected to grow from $60 million to $22 billion in just 2 years. The industry is hemp. This just might be what you're looking for. To find out how you could be an international distributor with one of the fastest growing hemp companies, call or text 310-678-9712 now. That's 310-678-9712.
Created by nature and proven by science, Recept Hemp Extract is something you've probably never experienced before. This organic, non-THC product not only has CBD, but Recept has the latest and highest CBG content. CBG may aid sleep, pain, digestion, mood, so many things. Get your broad-spectrum Recept today. Call or text 310-678-9712 now, or visit lovinglife.primemybody.com.
Women face more challenges today, resulting in more stress, anxiety, and body imbalances. Women need a little more support, and that's where Recept may help. Organically grown and processed with nanosonicated technology, this THC-free hemp product is a great balancing tool. It may aid a woman's hormonal balance from PMS to conception, from pregnancy to menopause. So women, get your calm on. Order Recept today. Just text or call 310-678-9712.
Humans aren't the only ones that can benefit from hemp. Animals can too. Hemp Health for Pets was specially formulated for dogs and cats. Safe and effective, your pets can feel balanced in body and mind with Prime My Pet Hemp and Health Blend. It has organic CBD and yucca, hawthorn, fish oil, and red algae, making Hemp and Health Blend perfect to aid your pet's inflammation, skin conditions, joints, and more. Get yours today. Just text or call 310-678-9712. That's 310-678-9712.
Eclectic talk with a positive twist. HealthyLife.net.
Hi, this is Joanne Reese. Thanks so much for joining us today on the Hemp Show. If you're just tuning in, feel free to go to the archive page and hear the first half of our interview for today, where we had Dr. Leta, acupuncturist and oriental medicine doctor, talking about the endocannabinoid system, how critical this is to understanding the importance of this, and her work in sharing hemp and CBD. And I'm thrilled to have a second guest on today's call. This is a woman that I met about 2 years ago through my own learning about hemp and the benefits. And Tara, Stef, has been a holistic educator for about the past 5 years. She's worked with several different companies that offer great products in skincare and nutrition. She's a huge cannabis and hemp advocate. And thanks so much, Tara, for being with us today.
Thank you, Joanne, for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet. Tara's been a big inspiration for me as I've had an opportunity to do a lot of training calls with her. I've seen her do incredible holistic coaching with a bunch of clients. So tell us a little bit about your relationship with this plant and how it is that you're sharing it with people today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joanne. I have had a vast experience, if you will, for about the last 20 years using cannabis medicinally, and I've seen its health and therapeutic properties. It's only been about the last 2 years that I've really searched and learned more specifically surrounding what CBD, CBG, and the different cannabinoids really do to support the body. And I'm very excited to check out, the first half of the speech that you had today, which learns a little bit more. And I'm actually a hemp educator creating a course in endocannabinoid system to be able to bridge the gap into HEMP to help educate more practitioners, police officers, politicians, pet owners, physicians, really on the magical benefits of this plant ally. I was introduced to this particular, high CBD strand product when I had a mountain biking accident, and that really sent me into looking for holistic ways of healing my body. Of course, Vicodin and muscle relaxers were the standard prescription that I was given after my traumatic brain injury and broken bones. I really was looking for cannabis to be my medicine. I do live in the beautiful state of Colorado, so it does seem to be the cannabis capital of the world these days. And I had tried a lot of different CBD products that honestly didn't deliver results for me. I didn't notice anything happening, and it was actually a very dear friend of mine who's actually a solar panel designer, engineer, who introduced me to the hemp oil that we're speaking about today. And it's absolutely transformed my life. My doctor was completely floored at how fast I recovered. She literally told me, Tara, we do not see healing in patients like this for several months. It's been 30 days. You're practically healed. What are you doing? And, of course, I've been a holistic entrepreneur now for about, like Joanne said, the last 5 years. I've been embracing supplements and, vegan protein shakes and things like that, superfoods. In addition to this hemp oil, I really believe that, it's transforming my health and wellness. So I've definitely been an advocate for sharing to help people, especially suffering with concussion or traumatic brain injury, since that's where, I had my first experience with this oil that was literally like peace in a bottle for me. It lit me up like no other, and it was very transformative, immediate results that I felt. So I'm definitely proud to share this with people because I realize how important brain health really truly is, and I know how many people are suffering from headaches and seizures and a whole slew of different brain inflammation related issues like that foggy mental brain and anxiety, depression, all of these things that I feel like we're all kind of struggling with here, especially in America, but as we start looking globally as well to bring this to people. So the healing is definitely paramount and very passionate about that.
I love it. And Tara, I love that you share your story on Facebook recently. And if you're on Facebook and you want to look Tara up, her name is spelled Tara, last name Stef. And just a couple days ago, she posted pictures of herself after this biking accident that are pretty horrific. I've known a lot of friends, especially in Boulder here, where everybody rides their bikes, who've had terrible bike accidents, car accidents in big storms, traumatic brain injuries. It seems to be something, I'm hearing about more and more. One of my friends who shared this with me, Dr. Lori, had a biking accident at Burning Man last year and had a traumatic brain injury, and she told me she was taking a bottle a day of the hemp oil, and what happened over a period of like 2 weeks was miraculous, how quickly her body was able to come back to itself. It's amazing, and I know the NFL is doing a massive amount of research right now about CBD, about CBG, how it helps football players with injuries, with concussions, with traumatic brain injuries. So this seems to be a very hot topic and something that we're seeing, one of the primary things that we're seeing this really help people with. And I'd love to have you talk a little bit about, you kind of jumped into this company, not just as a practitioner who wanted to share a great product, but in building a team with this and sharing this with people. And what have been the results of what you've seen in the last couple of years?
Wow, Joanne, I can only explain it as miracles that have happened in my own life as well as sharing with others. It's become such a passion and a mission of mine and my team and our team, and I'm so blessed to be a part of your team as well. And just bringing this to the people again, I feel it's it's our responsibility when we know that there is something that can help others. If we don't tell them about this, I feel like we're doing them a disservice. So for me, it's a really big mission to just, hold the torch, if you will. I used to compete and was trying to get on the Olympic snowboarding team for snowboard cross, and it was always a dream of mine to have the torch and be able to pass it off to someone else. And that's what I feel like we're really doing. The way that this oil, these extracts, these cannabinoids, these phytocannabinoids are lighting people up from within. It does feel like I'm literally just passing off the torch, giving them a little bit of fuel for their light so that they can shine brighter in whatever ways that their body needs to heal. It's profound. It really is. So I'm very, very blessed to share that mission with everyone.
I love it. And I really always love to encourage people to Google the endocannabinoid system. It's remarkable. Can you just take a minute or two and explain what the system is about and how you describe it to people and why it's so important that we are working with our endocannabinoid system?
Absolutely. So the endocannabinoid system, this is very recent, new discovery. Only since 1992 have we even known that this system exists. Dr. Raphael Mechoulam is an Israeli scientist. He was actually studying the benefits of cannabis for the U.S. government when he discovered, because of the advancements of technology, looked down to the cellular level and found these receptors. And this is a system, the endocannabinoid system, that is responsible for truly the master control switch, if you will. It controls all the other systems in the body, and when we start getting burned out and deficient because we're not able to keep up the production of our own anandamide, or that bliss molecule that we create when we're in deep love and connection with others, and meditation, yoga, all of these things, our lights start getting burned out. I think of it like lights on a Christmas tree, and a lot of people are burned out. They just are a regular pine tree. So when you start supplementing with phytocannabinoids from the plant, it actually is like illuminating those lights, turning the lights back on for people, which can be absolutely profound and prolific for them to experience, especially if they've been deprived of this plant ally for 50, 60 years or more, or even the young children who are really experiencing a lot of inflammation levels. When I think of the endocannabinoid system, it's basically responsible, I think of it like dispatch. If you've got a fire blazing in your brain or your joints or wherever that inflammation is rearing its ugly little head, the role of the endocannabinoid system is to bring in the firemen, which are, like sitting in, those are the immune cells. If dispatch isn't there and the message never gets to the firemen, they don't know that there's something to fight. So the inflammation wages. So really, when you take hemp oil specifically, that has...
Hold that thought for one quick second. We're going to be right back.
After 80 years, the government has finally broken open this industry. Imagine tapping into an industry that is expected to grow from $60 million to $22 billion in just 2 years. The industry is hemp. This just might be what you're looking for. To find out how you could be an international distributor with one of the fastest growing hemp companies, call or text 310-678-9712 now. That's 310-678-9712.
Created by nature and proven by science, Recept Hemp Extract is something you've probably never experienced before. This organic, non-THC product not only has CBD, but Recept has the latest and highest CBG content. CBG may aid sleep, pain, digestion, mood, so many things. Get your broad-spectrum Recept today. Call or text 310-678-9712 now, or visit lovinglife.primemybody.com.
Women face more challenges today, resulting in more stress, anxiety, and body imbalances. Women need a little more support, and that's where Recept may help. Organically grown and processed with nanosonicated technology, this THC-free hemp product is a great balancing tool. It may aid a woman's hormonal balance from PMS to conception, from pregnancy to menopause. So women, get your calm on. Order Recept today. Just text or call 310-678-9712.
Humans aren't the only ones that can benefit from hemp. Animals can too. Hemp Health for Pets was specially formulated for dogs and cats. Safe and effective, your pets can feel balanced in body and mind with Prime My Pet Hemp and Health Blend. It has organic CBD and yucca, hawthorn, fish oil, and red algae, making Hemp and Health Blend perfect to aid your pets' inflammation, skin conditions, joints, and more. Get yours today. Just text or call 310-678-9712. That's 310-678-9712.
Eclectic talk with a positive twist. HealthyLife.net.
And this is Joanne Reese. Thanks so much for joining us today on the Hemp Show. If you're just tuning in, please go to the podcast on demand so that you can hear the beginning of our interview. And we're on with Tara Stef, holistic coach. And you were just beautifully describing this system within our body that still isn't being taught in most medical schools. Many, many practitioners, doctors, et cetera, still don't know about the endogenous cannabinoid system. And I love that you were talking about when we're supplementing with a high-potency, high-purity hemp product, it's like bringing the firemen in.
It is. And, when you're thinking about that, okay, if a fireman needs, to fight a blaze, and let's face it, if people are experiencing a lot of inflammation these days, and that's it can spread systemically to other systems and throughout the body. That's like a fire. It's like a forest fire, if you will. It's not just a little spark. So if you want to arm those firemen, do you want to give them a squirt gun, or would you like to call in the rain? And that is really what I felt immediately, the relief that we are feeling from this particular hemp oil. It's like saturating those lights, getting those firemen to the blaze where they can effectively fight the blaze and get that inflammation under control once and for all.
Yeah, and so, again, Google the endocannabinoid system. This is a system of receptors that is in every major organ of your body, the bulk of which are in your brain and your gut. And so when you're addressing this chronic inflammation state, we're seeing all areas of the body function better, from neurochemistry to the endocrine system to your immune function to your entire central nervous system. And what I like to say to people is, when you sleep better, when you poop better, when your mood and your blood sugar and your blood pressure and your chemistry are stabilized, you can't imagine what you're capable of, right? So I love thinking of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's like when you're not on fire, when your hair is not on fire, and you're not stressed out in that agitated fight-or-flight state, you can respond. You remember to breathe. You're motivated to exercise. You're going to make better choices with your food. One of my most amazing things when I first started sharing this with people, I brought this to a friend of mine who was in the hospital at the time. I was literally going to the hospital like every 2 days, and I was squirting the oil in her mouth. She had massive chronic pain, a lot of different issues in her body, and she called me up about 3 or 4 days into taking it, and she said, my desire for alcohol has completely gone away, that's amazing. Like, a lot of people who don't sleep and have chronic pain, they drink, and they drink a lot. And that causes, alcohol's a depressant, so that causes a lot of problems in itself. And this woman had struggled a lot with alcohol and abuse with that. And I'm an addiction recovery coach, and I have worked with people for decades on addiction recovery. And here was one of my best friends telling me that her desire for alcohol completely went away. And I massively started researching at that point how this can help people with addiction. How it can help people with nicotine, THC, alcohol, drug addiction. And that was one of the big topics, at the CannaMed event that Leta and I were at, was how CBD can be helping people with opiates. What have you seen and how you've shared this with people on that topic, Tara?
Oh, absolutely. Again, when you turn the lights back on and people can feel more vibrant and alive and in true harmony and in connection with what their true mission is on this planet. Like you said, when our body's trying to fight a fire, we're not worried about taking out the trash. And so a lot of times those toxins will start accumulating in people, and this is where, being a health coach has really helped me identify, especially women and men. We tend to hold on to toxic body fat, and that's like bubble wrap for toxins. When our body becomes toxic and it's trying to avoid those, our organs and our major functional organs, our brain, it's packing those toxins away in fat cells. So if you're looking at, a woman or a male with, especially that cortisol, the stress hormone that's also packing on the weight, typically in the midsection. For women, we also experience it in our thighs and our buttocks and things like that. So helping people recognize, especially if they've been trying to lose weight and they're just not getting the results that they need, if we bring the body back into balance and get them out of that fight or flight, stress, worry, overload mode all the time, their body can actually turn back on the detox pathways. The NRF2 pathway can become, upregulated, which means that those toxins, the trash, is finally getting out. And when the body is releasing the toxins, the cool thing to see is people, wow, I lost 10 pounds. I didn't really do a lot of extra exercise, but they were watching what they were doing. They were upping their detox pathways, and they're supporting their liver and things to flush out those toxins efficiently, which the hemp oil, it's really exciting when I have people who are saying, oh, my goodness, like I'm finally off of all my pain pills. I've slept better than I have in 20 years. Again, you can't make any claims that this would, cure, prevent, treat, or heal any disease or issue, but it's really astounding when you know that. And I just ask people, do you have a desire to reduce or get off of your medications? Because I really believe that there are no safe medications. There are pharmaceutical side effects for every man-made product on the market. And so helping people, with what God has given us on this planet and this incredible plant ally of cannabis and hemp, very excited to bring that back. So, yeah, it's a miracle for a lot of people that are trying that. Yeah.
And if you can lose 10 pounds, that's awesome too, right? I often say to people, like, when you're not chronically inflamed, your metabolism and your thyroid can actually start functioning again. So I have gotten a lot of reports, too, about that. We just have another minute or two left. I really want to hear you talk about CBD for your skin. You bring a CBD with nitric oxide. We just have a minute. Tell us about that, Tara.
Absolutely. So being in skincare, of course, I've been very passionate. I've been watching very closely because our skin is our largest organ, which means that it has the most receptors. Think of it as a lot of different lights are lighting up when you give CBD to the skin, and paired with nitric oxide. So nitric oxide is a vasodilator, meaning that it improves circulation. It helps support the vascular system, and we know that heart disease is the number one killer. So if we can help people really up their own nitric oxide production and supplement with taking a product that has nitric oxide in it, we have this product that merges CBD and nitric oxide, and there's 19 patents surrounding the formulation of this because nitric oxide is in itself rather unstable. So we have an incredible formulator who's been able to marry the benefits of bringing natural circulation back to the health of the skin, which helps reduce fine lines and wrinkles and, discoloration in people's skin. So I'm really excited to see what this new NOX product is able to do to really bring health back to our skin, because we know people are really caring about how they look and feel. So if we can help them from the inside out, wow, it's incredible.
And the other thing we have coming is a heart product that's going to include CBD and nitric oxide for your heart. So more information on that to come. Bring your questions to me. Feel free to call me or text me, 310-678-9712. Thank you, Tara, for being with us today. Thank you to our listeners for joining us. May we be well, may we be blessed, and may we carry the message of hemp to the world, the sacred plant medicine. Thanks so much.